the way you match the music with the
outfits,
house, the way I just blanked
everything.
right there.
Yeah,
That was crazy. I just shut down right
froze.
there.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the best podcast in real estate, The Walkthrough, where each and every single week we bring on top industry professionals to talk trending topics in real estate in real time. My name is Dan Oneil. I am your co-host and El Capitan of BAM, Broke Agent Media, and today we have yet another jam-packed episode for you all. Haley, can you clip in like a DJ Khaled, another one, kind of like a...
No, that'll give us a copyright strike. Go ahead and don't do that, okay. Haley.
Yep, don't do that. Copyright strike. Speaking of copyright strikes, joining me as always is my co-host. If you were watching this, we will have completed the biggest day of his life, aside from his wedding. Shout out to Ann, which was BAM Camp, a total success. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic. BAM Camp is over. We have a huge announcement today. So 3 biggest days of my life, back to back here, besides the wedding, of course. So I'm in a fantastic mood. And I am the king of copyright strikes. You're right.
Yes. I know that. We are also joined today by the Mr. Smiles. This guy's always smiling, making days. Mr. Dan MacKinnon coming to us live from sunny, beautiful Sarasota. Dan, how are you? And do me a favor, never go to the Chevron that is across from Main Street, please.
Now, the thing is most locals don't actually hang out on Main Street, most likely not even at the gas stations there, but I'll let you slide on that one. But good to see everybody. Glad to be on. Good to see all the smiles.
Love the shirt. It's actually blinding me currently, but
you know,
tropical.
Blinded by the good vibes.
All right, ready? I prepared this. And lastly, from the blue corner, from the most beautiful place on earth, Utah, the content queen, hook savant, team leader, and arguably the top IG aesthetic in the game, Miss Utah Paige. Paige, how you doing?
That sounded like such an amazing intro, but it froze for me. Was I the only one it froze for?
Nobody did it.
No, you were good.
Okay.
Today we're talking Media Wars, NAR lawsuits, what's to come, a huge announcement, marketer of the week, probably Jason Cassidy doing another sushi video, realtors staying at their brokerage, ? And much, much more. Make sure to slam and like this video and the sub button. We appreciate all the love, and thank you all for watching it. Really, truly makes us all worth this. All right, so topic numero uno, Media Wars. The Inman article, of which I have no access to. We're going to have to let Eric run with this because I did not have the paywall here. Eric, may you take the floor here, my friend.
Yeah, sure. A couple weeks ago, an Inman author who I like actually, who's one of the nicest people in the industry, wrote an article promoting the Inman Connect conference in New York. In doing so, I believe they issued an attack, a blank that they shot directly at BAM. And I'm going to read this to you guys. I did a green screen about this.
What did they shoot?
A blank. You familiar with those?
I know you are.
Yeah. Anyway, they shot something right at us, and I think this was about us. And I want to read it to you guys, and you guys let me know what you think. This is to promote their Inman Connect conference. In a world brimming with real estate gurus, influencers, empty memes that dumb you down, vanity metrics that dazzle your daily dopamine fix, now more than ever, it's essential to recognize the unique power of seasoned real estate masters. So, maybe this is ego talking or something, but when they say empty memes that dumb you down, I figured that they were talking about us. I figured that they were talking about BAM, because when you think about memes, you do think about the broke agent. You think about actually agents. So what I think they were trying to do is draw a line in the sand saying, we are not this brand. Come to our conference. These are the real estate practitioners you need to listen to. Don't go to BAM Camp, which was a huge success, where we have the best team leaders and practitioners in the game. Come to our conference at Inman. So I wanted to get your guys' perspective, because obviously I'm in my own head. Whenever I see anything, I think that it's possibly some sort of slight towards myself or BAM. But Paige, we'll start with you. What do you think? Do you think this was an attack on us, or do you think they're just talking about memes in general for the real estate industry?
No, it was 100% about you. And the least they could do is call you out by name and give you some free advertisement or something.
Correct.
Like you did for them when you clapped back. But yeah, it's kind of weird that they're dogging on like humor and entertainment. That's what everybody wants right now. And it's just so pretentious. Like, don't listen to the funny people. Like, we're like the big timers that know what they're doing. I'm just like, hey, you guys are boring. Nobody wants to just sit and read boring articles. Like, I want to learn by watching a video, getting to the point, being entertained. That's how anyone is going to retain information the best. So,
And
Yeah,
BAM
totally.
Camp, by the way, not to interrupt you, Paige, BAM Camp wasn't just like, hey, like funny videos. BAM Camp had like the biggest team leaders, like practitioners. They had Lisa Chinati, Byron Lazine, Tom Toole, myself. They had Tom Story. Like, it was literally the Coachella of real estate in an intimate setting. So it's not like there were 8,000 people at a conference where the speakers are at like another high level, right? Where you can't even talk to them. You never see them. They fly in, they fly out. We all had like lunch together. We had cocktails together afterwards. It was building a community. So them like harping on like the comedy or like the meme side of it, that is the dumbest thing that they could have possibly done, because they're just completely wrong. And the funniest part about it all is first of all, every speaker that was there speaks at Inman, is on the roster for them to speak at Inman. So I didn't even.
And that was the craziest. That was the craziest part, is seeing that they're outlining from the top down what BAM is doing now. Whether it be from, they just had that highlight at the top that was all buzzwords. I mean, seasoned agents. I mean, there's people that are in the industry for 2 years selling more than someone that's been in the industry for 10 years, yet they just want to go back on the history books. I love this line, though. It says, agent, people only value agent training, technology, innovation, and change. That's literally what everyone inside of the BAM culture is doing. You go to BAMX, there's masterminds on green screens, YouTube, all of these forward-facing, changing ways that we're doing stuff in the industry. And then you go to the bottom, it's like, leave the ego at the door. You're going to meet people that you can make friendships with. And the funny thing about it is if you break past the comedy, like Dan said, there's so many great people selling 50, 60, $100 million of real estate that will just sit down and go, yeah, let's just break down. How can I help you? And that was the craziest part about the article. It tried to call out humor and a culture of good people into this, well, they're just unprofessional. But the farther you go into the community, you'll find people that will just, Tom Story will just be like, yeah, cool. This is how it's going in my life. And this is what I do. And he'll spell it all out.
Hey, by the way, and maybe they're talking about some big names. Like, we didn't have Ryan Serhant, right? We didn't have, maybe some of the $1 Million Listing guys. What did Ryan become famous for? Being on a scripted reality TV show. Funny videos, funny listing,
being animated,
humor, entertainment, right? So they're kind of, it's like what's the expression? The pot calling the kettle black. And the other thing too is, I don't know, and I'll be the Darth Byron here. I've already said it. I mean, I can't even get a ticket to Inman if I wanted to, which I don't want to anyway. But with that said, I went to Inman, New York one time in my entire life. This was 2 years ago when we did the podcast with Leonetti. I walked in and felt immediately uncomfortable. I don't know if it was the perfume in the hotel that they had. I don't know if it was the fact that I just did not belong, which I do belong. I don't know what it was, but I felt immediately uncomfortable, intimidated. The speakers were held to like a different standard for some odd reason. And I know Eric's playing nice in the sandbox, but this is kind of like the second one in weeks. And I feel that like there's enough media, there's enough stuff to go around where like we can all coexist. They can run their events. We can do the BAM stuff. We can have our podcast, make our memes. They can do theirs. Why do they have to keep throwing these subtle like jabs at you guys?
Do you think that they have a brand identity though? Do you think they have a brand identity problem? Because it seemed like they didn't know where to fit in. They've been running a news site for a long period of time, telling market statistics and very straightforward linear stuff. They never want to get out of their lane, yet they call out everybody. So who are they? They want to throw events and sell tickets. They want to create culture, but yet the only thing they post is news from other people.
Well, I mean, they're doing a good job though, because think about it. We're talking about it right now and we're promoting their events.
Their news sector is obviously fantastic, but like Paige said at the beginning, we understand that people consume content social first now. You want to get your news from Twitter. You want to get your news from Instagram. You want to get it in clip form and video form. And they're just peppering 15, Instagram feed posts a day about their news articles, which is clearly not the way to go about it. So I think their move right now is to throw subtle jabs without naming us because they don't want to give us any credibility. By the way, this isn't a string of slights. We covered this a few weeks ago, Dan, when they had that survey about other real estate media sources and then did not mention BAM and have just kind of gone out of their way to not include us in anything. However, I will say this. They did give me an Inman
I
Innovator
started my
Award last
business
year.
at Inman. They do a
They
great
did.
job.
Well, no, I have to, be completely honest about everything. They did give Matt and I an Inman Innovator Award for the Overask podcast. They did have me speak there in 2015 when I first started the brand. So I just think now they're kind of seeing us coming and they're thinking, all right, now what we do is we subtly attack and then we ignore. And we're not
Is
going
there a way to put a little text on the screen over Eric and just say middleman Eric over that whole
No,
time?
I'm being as honest as possible here. The video speaks for itself. It was a clear attack on us, and I retaliated. But I'm just setting the table for everything, so they understand where I'm coming from.
You did do a very good job on the green screen that you posted on BAM of articulating it in a very respectful and polite way. And I did think that you kind of touched on all the points that you mentioned. But I just love playing the Darth Byron character, and I totally get where you're coming from.
Middleman Eric.
I mean, you're Eric, and I get it. You have to be, right?
No, I don't have to be. I'm just setting the table for everybody who may just be coming into this scenario right here, where they do understand that Inman has support in the past, but clearly now they're getting worried about what we're producing. Speaking of getting worried about what we're producing, another media company launched. Dan, this happened at BAM Camp, the Wednesday, strategically paced. Plus, oh my God, strategically placed. Okay. Possibly, you lead it up.
I'll tee that off. And by the way, let us know too if you think that that Inman article had anything to do with BAM, or if we're just anxiety ridden and constantly overly thinking that everyone's mad at us. But topic number 2, I never thought that these words would come out of my mouth, but topic number 2 from the Hollywood Reporter. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift seen driving 1977 Chevy Impala leaving Arrowhead. I'm kidding.
We should talk about that.
This is from the Hollywood Reporter here. $1 Million Listing star Josh Flagg launches media company spotlighting real estate content creators. Where's the article on that, Inman? Estate Media, debuting with a slate of video series and podcasts from digital stars with a combined 25 million followers, also counts former Amazon Studios Roku exec Griff O'Brien as a co-founder. Josh Flagg, one of real estate's most recognizable personalities, thanks to his long-running presence on Bravo's $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, has announced that he has started a media business. Haley, do we have the picture that we can put up here? Because I think it's kind of funny. The new Estate Media launched with former Amazon Prime Video and Roku Connect, Griff O'Brien, and Andrew Shanfield, the co-founder of real estate private equity firm Carolwood Equities, launched with a roster of more than 20 content creators and agents who have built their own brands. And again, a combined of 25 million followers by focusing on the world of real estate. They range from Flagg's fellow $1 Million Listing star, Tracy Tudor, Glenda Baker, Aaron Grush, whatever. Their final quote here: Estate Media is a real estate media company leveraging the personalities that start, own, and define conversation in the real estate industry to create a destination for professionals and fans that is trusted and loved, Flagg tells the Hollywood Reporter. They also, I'm just going to skip to this point right here. They also said that they were going to be the first ones to start a podcast network and unscripted shows.
Interesting.
The
first ones, huh? They also raised $1.65 million, by the way. So, yes, this is Josh Flagg's new media company who launched with a bunch of real estate influencers that seem to be trying to do exactly what we're doing.
And that number, like no disrespect to them. I mean, they're in a different ballgame in terms of like transactionally for us, but that number that they said that they raised, I mean, it's
not that much.
Yeah. Continue, Eric. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, the fact that they said that they're trying to start a podcast network and unscripted shows and IP around other content creators is if they're the first ones to do this. It's like we've been doing this for 2 years. We literally started a podcast network. We were the first to do this. So I like it in the sense it's going to be competition. And competition has absolutely fueled me in this game, as an announcement we'll see in the next segment here. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't know how involved Josh Flagg will be in this. I just know that running a real estate media company and being in the media game is a 24/7 full-time thing. This guy sells $30-40 million properties. That's pretty damn lucrative. I don't know if he's going to be, tweaking the email subject titles or figuring out which caption to post or spending an hour and a half on a carousel swiper just to get an extra 10 comments on a post. But those are the sort of details that we focus on at BAM every single day. That newsletter you get with the BAM Bites, that takes an hour and a half, 2 hours to perfectly perfect where each thing is sequenced, right? Like this is this is my life, So I don't know if they're just going to try to buy out a bunch of influencers and try to create shows around them, but they're also in for a rude awakening in the sense that the real estate audience is not that big. There's 1.5 million, 100,000 of them do actual business. Maybe 10% of those actually watch content. So if they think they're just going to create a bunch of shows,
left.
Yeah, 60,000 left. Exactly. So, yeah, it'll be interesting, but it's cool to be, attacked by Inman, and then there's another upstart media company. Clearly we're doing something right here.
Yeah, and I think it's all good, right? Like this is all positive for the industry, right? Like the more new media that there are, the more resources or outlets that we can go and use that will be able to educate us and entertain and so on and so forth and highlight personalities. It's not a bad thing. I love the competition. Competition is what fuels me each and every single day. And I kind of feel like from a band standpoint, right? Like Inman's been around since my mom was born, probably. You're facing, Josh Flagg, $1 billion listing over here. And that's kind of like, Eric, you're sitting in your 1,700 square foot Brentwood apartment, perfecting carousel posts. Like we're the ones that are punching up, and that's a cool feeling. Paige, what do you think about estate media?
Well, I think it sounds like from that article that it's just BAM with a bunch of money behind it right off the bat. But you guys are already doing a great job of going back to humor earlier. I think humor is a form of intelligence, and we're in the business of client relationships. And most people that have emotional intelligence and can connect to clients who are out there dealing with people every day aren't the people that are going to be like sitting, reading boring articles all the time. Like I want to stay up to date so that I'm knowledgeable for my clients, but I want quick information. Like that's the stuff I don't really like doing. So I want it quick, entertaining, so I can be a good resource for my clients, but I want to be out there having fun with my clients. And, so anyways, I think that media companies are great for real estate agents to learn, but it's sounds like exactly what you guys are already
Dan,
doing.
what do you think? It's hard to tell if you're frozen or if you just have a blank stare on your face.
No, I'm just waiting for the. Yeah, no, I'm very much alive and happy here. No, I think it's a good opportunity. I mean, I think that a lot of people have wondered how to jump in. I think that the big difference is if you look in the article of what they're planning on doing with things, where it seems as if they're trying to attract outside businesses to influence the behavior. And I think we know how much we're all spending in business. So the eyes, the emails, all this data, we don't look at it as data as people that are creating content. We look at it as leads and relationships to create. Yet we're getting people in our email box that are filled with, they need insurance, they need, all these services that we could sell off, and yet we don't because they're our clients. Now, that's the one dangerous thing about, the future is how much are they going to use the entertainment to sell off to partners and stuff like that. And then the second thing is, are they going to find the people that tell the stories? Are they going to find the people in the industry to actually tell the stories? Or are they going to try to find them to people that, I hate to say it, but like the Bravo shows are great, but they're not relatable to most people. So most of these real estate agents are not going to be able to like relate to, this is how you go set up a listing at a $45 billion home. Man, I need to help on the $900,000 crap box that I'm selling in Venice. So I think that the idea that selling a targeted program to realtors in the real estate industry sounds more like a quick sell of information than it does actually information and entertainment.
It could be that they're trying to maybe reach, like I read part of the article said like unscripted TV shows. So maybe they're not just trying to capture the real estate agent audience. Maybe they're just trying to capture regular, everyday consumers.
And maybe they see more on this backside of their store, their Bravo show that we're not seeing on analytics of so many people liking it. But I think that's a TV show that has so much money behind it.
Yes. Well, doing more consumer-facing content makes sense because, like I said, the real estate agent audience is so small. It's really difficult to grow a media company that's focused just at those 1.5 million realtors, right? Like you need mortgage, you need title, you need escrow, you need actual buyers and sellers and, people outside of the real estate agent space. So, we're going to do this too, of course. Like we just started Nair with real estate agents, eventually going to expand. But totally agree with you, Dan, that the content has to be relatable. Like when Byron talks on the hot sheet every morning, he's actually doing real estate. Like he runs the number one team in Connecticut. When we share an article with Paige and Paige is on this show and you're on the show and Dan's on the show, it's like you guys are all actively selling real estate in your markets right now. Not that they're not, but like if you want to listen to
real estate is not the same.
It's not,
right.
It's completely different.
It's unrelatable to hear something whose, average list price is probably $20-30 million or something, which is awesome for him, by the way. Like, ultra
is
respect for
incredible.
Josh Flagg, of course.
Yes, and that's why their shows do so well, because the average consumer, right? Like, I want to see what it's like to look or live as in a $40 million penthouse. So does like the average consumer on Bravo or on HGTV. But for the agents and most people, right? Like, we want to know what's going on about 800, 500 $1 million homes. It's not relatable to other people. So when they hop on a podcast and they talk about driving around Beverly Hills or Hampton Hills, whatever the hell it's called, that big windy street, that West Hill, whatever it is, West Hollywood, it's not relatable, right? But that's why the average consumer, like my mother, who's a dental hygienist, yeah, maybe she's going to watch that TV show, but my mom's not going to go on YouTube and listen to a podcast about how they're selling $50 million, deals. So, and some of the names that they mentioned in here that they already signed, like Glenda, we love Glenda. Shout out to Glenda. But I don't know what the future is going to hold. I just love the competition. I love the fact that new media is coming, and I love the fact that we are the underdogs.
It shows you there's a need in this space. Sorry, Dan. It just shows you that Inman existed in its own sphere for so long. Obviously, Housing Wire, Real Deal, both are doing a fantastic job. But there was this need for new media. There was this need for personalities. It's not just journalists writing articles. It's not boring conferences with the same 10 speakers rotating, speaking to 4,000 or 5,000 people at a time. They need boots on the ground, agents and practitioners and people with personality and humor. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, I just love that, to go back to the BAM kickback, I think it was pretty cool that one of the first videos, since they've started posting pretty regularly now, was a video with Haley, from Coffee and Contracts, which is, right in line with the BAM culture and everything like that. So I do think I go back to say that again.
I said traitor, but I'm just kidding. Haley's great.
Who posted that?
Well, I don't even know if they probably reached out to her, but at the same time, I just think it's pretty interesting if you go back to that culture and storytellers. It's like, are you going to find the people that are super interesting, that carry along that relatability, not even to the stuff they sell, but to the actual human being? Because sometimes when I want to connect in just watching a video with some of these people, I'm like, are they selling real estate or like a buku land? I don't even know what it's about.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. We're getting attacked from the top. New media company coming up our ass right now. I love it. This is what we're built for. We're going to crush them all. BAM's going to go to the absolute moon. Dan, next topic. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. From Housing Wire, topic number 3, real estate agents are staying put. We'll see about that. Real estate agents are moving much less between brokerages from the post-pandemic peak seen in the summer of 2021. A Realtix inaugural agent movement index shows. The index shows that the relative degree of movement between the y-axis and the x-axis.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I'm joking. I'm teasing. The relative degree of movement between real estate brokerages by experienced agents and is indexed to the level of mobility in January 2016. The graph shows that on a trailing 12-month basis, mobility hit its 10-year high in June of 21 at an index value of 109.4. This is diabolical. Basically, in 2021, agents were moving brokerages at an all-time high, and now this survey that was recently done this past June, it is at basically a record low. I'm going to kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent here because I'm out recruiting in Sarasota and Florida and New York, and we are going at it. And I can tell you that in my opinion, what I am seeing, and I'm going to ask you guys the same question, I believe that a lot of agents are tied into contracts right now because they receive sign-on bonuses. They have a lot of deals pending. Maybe they have rev share, so on and so forth. From what I am seeing is that agents are struggling because the market is down transactionally, and they are looking to make that move. They are just waiting until their contract is done. They're waiting to finalize certain things. So I think that although this is objective fact here, and this is stats and facts and not opinion, my opinion is that the opposite, and that when people are struggling, they blame the brokerage. When a shiny new toy comes into town, people are getting excited about it. So in my opinion, I want to go back to this in a year from now or 6 months from now, and Redlicks, whatever their survey is, I want to see what those numbers look like because I think people are going to be jumping ship left and right in the next 6 months. Dan, see you later.
Paige, we'll ask that again. What would make you, or like, are you happy with where you at? And then what would make you leave your brokerage, I guess?
Yeah.
I am happy. Am I good now? I'm not frozen?
Yeah,
okay.
You're good. You're good.
No, you're good.
So I wondered if that big boom had something to do with EXP and Real, because I felt like that was new. It was kind of like the MLM of real estate. Everybody, even I was like, wait, what is this? And the grass is always green. You're like, wait, is this a way? I'm frozen.
That was a very good point, but she's frozen. Speaking of EXP and Real, Dan MacKinnon. As somebody that I'm trying to recruit here, what would be something that would make you leave, or one reason why you love where you are and you wouldn't leave, maybe?
I think it's technology change. It's going back to what a lot of people are looking for. It's like technology change, youthful behavior towards opportunities. And I think that the biggest thing I saw in the graph, two things actually, the COVID spike. And I think it was actually right after COVID started that most people were changing, and ever since it's gone down. Now, if you think about that, I think it's the viewpoint that the brokerage had going into COVID saying, hey, this is what we're going to do to make those changes. This is the technology we're going to use to advance and get into those people's faces. And this is how the future is going to be. Now, a lot of people stayed exactly the same. And to be honest, I moved right pretty much after that for one of those reasons. So for me, I think it is that technology and change. But now I think most people aren't moving is because the work is harder. We're contacting people 3 times as much. We're making so much more content. We have cancellations up the wazoo, all these things that are different. And I don't think I even have enough time, if I was unhappy, to actually go find a good brokerage, go through all the processes to change, because I'm actually out here trying to make a living doing my regular job versus, just taking phone calls.
Yeah. Do you think, and Dan, do you think, like, I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, so you can tell me, but has there been like a cut in Real's rev share and or Keller Williams rev share? Because a lot of and not to throw them under the bus by any means, but a lot of the recruiting appointments that I'm going on, people seem to continue to bring that up where like obviously we're, the market's a little down transactionally. Is that true or is that?
So Real hasn't changed. Real actually change it like better for their agents, and the fact that it kind of it makes it so you get more money faster. They haven't changed anything up, but Keller Williams actually did. The reason they've had a lot of agents go back recently is because they just let everyone know if you're not with Keller Williams, you will no longer get rev share. And so a lot of the agents that were at different brokerages went back because they were getting nice rev share cuts from Keller Williams. No, I mean, it's smart of Keller Williams to pull back their people because, they're so known for let's train everybody and let them go. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to see truly what's going on in the industry in another 6 to 12 months, because the people that are moving around right now are the ones not in the weeds trying to make deals happen. They're just trying to Band-Aid up things and trying to make sure that they can actually last, which it's not going to last, because if their core brain function as an agent or a team or anything is my brokerage is the issue, we got problems.
But see, I would disagree with you because, and I'll pass it to Paige right after. I would disagree with you, Dan, because in a lot of these meetings that I'm taking, and I'm doing a lot of them, New York and Florida, a lot of these people, they've done very, very well for many years, and you're seeing a decline in their numbers. And when you really break down why the decline in their numbers, it's not because of a lack of work ethic. It's because they don't have the resources. They don't have the tools. They don't have the training. They don't have the accountability. They don't have, mentorship. They don't have listings. They don't have content team. They don't have what we are fortunate enough to have. So.
And I think that you're right on with that. I just think the only one big difference is those people were on teams looking to be in opportunistic areas versus the people that are in actual making changes. Like for you, I guess I was talking from a point of view, Dan. It's like if you got stuff to complain about, I bet your to-do list for production is a little bit longer than you're bitching at your brokerage to do. And so you're right. I think that and that's the other thing too, is like, how are these teams and teamerages and groups going to make the difference? Because that's the thing, is the value add needs to be on them now. It's not everyone can go sign up for some Zillow leads or get on PPC or do all this other stuff. How are they actually going to foster these agents and keep them? And that's what brokerage should be worried about, is because you're getting pockets of 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 person teams and groups that are so influenced and so easily changed that there has to be some accountability from the top of these teamerages, the team leaders, and all the way to the brokerages. Because like you said, they're coming to you going, Dan, it's horrible out there. It's like a joke.
Yeah. Paige, you cut out, kind of left, you're back. You look like you're.
I don't know what happened. Dang it. But right, I feel like I have to speak super fast so I don't get frozen. But basically, I think everyone, when things aren't going well, they think the grass is greener and they think somebody's going to save them. Ultimately, nobody's going to save you. Your business is up to you. Yeah, I'm sure if you don't want to like get all your own systems in place, it's nice, especially if you're a newer agent, to join somewhere where they just like have it done for you. But ultimately your business is up to you, and it doesn't really matter what brokerage you're at. As long as you're putting in the work, you're going to be successful.
Again, I'm disagreeing with everybody here today.
How are you disagreeing with that point?
Because I think that, I agree with whatever brokerage, right? It's whatever you put into it. But for meeting people, and I'm doing this 10 times a day, like people are doing it now. They're seeing what's out there, what's available, because there's only 90 days left in the year. And they're quickly realizing with the market, the way that it is, and it's going to be this way for 2 to 4 years, they're quickly realizing, hey, I did very well the last 3 years because I was getting referrals. It was easy. I didn't need anything. But now they're saying, well, my business is kind of drying up because I never learned how to follow up. I didn't get any inbound leads. I didn't know anything. I was just getting referrals from friends and family, and I made money and I was happy. So a lot of people now, their businesses are getting exposed. These teams are getting exposed. And I feel like now is a time where people are wanting to explore their options because they actually recognize that they need help and that the brokerage or the team are just not providing that for them.
Going back to Paige's original, going back to her original point, like I'd be interested to see the statistics of people that actually went to cloud-based brokerages during 2021. Did they go to Real? Did they go to EXP? Did they go to 5 Realty? Because you didn't really need a brick and mortar office in 2020, 2021, right? So, and then also this was during the real estate content boom where everybody was doing masterminds, everybody was making these videos, and it became very attractive to go to these brokerages. So,
Eric, do you think that was a phase?
What, the content boom or the going to Real and EXP?
Yeah, the cloud-based stuff.
No, not really. I think that's how people operate now. I think a lot of people like to work from home and do masterminds and operate
as someone that was part of a bigger
as
someone who's a part of a bigger brokerage before. I just think that once you start seeing how much bloat and non-availability there is from larger brokerages, I don't think that you start realizing there's nothing behind those doors you can be scared of. And I think a lot of young new agents will sit behind those desks and think that there's no way I could do it out on my own. There's no way I could do this or that. And that's why we're seeing weakness in the industry right now. We're seeing not enough people stand up, like Paige said, and get to work, do the work, and figure out if it's you or the place you're in. Because Dan, I think you make a good point that yes, there are a ton of places that people are saying that they should be in better opportunities. But I think that people are also changing because maybe their cap was 29 grand and now they're paying 13 because they had all this money coming in. Now they have nothing coming in. So
I agree.
It's so hard to really tell. And I think it's because we're in the midst of the low right now. So it's going to be interesting to see in 12 months what that rest of that graph's going to do. Is it going to change, like you said, Dan, and go to a point where everybody's leaving all these old brokerages for actual opportunities?
I will be on record here as a Darth Byron moment to say that I guarantee that graph will change in the opposite direction. And listen, what works for one person might not work for another, but I firmly believe that now is a time where having a brick and mortar, showing up to the office and surrounding yourself with good energy, good people, right? Door knocking and being in front of people is better than being, on a Zoom every single day. I hate being locked in this room on a Zoom, on the walkthrough, doing this. I'd rather be in person with you guys. It's just hanging out with you guys.
Is Tom Tool behind you? You said door knocking.
Hovering.
You said door knocking.
Exactly.
We door knock. Listen, I took Lisa.
No, I'm messing with you. I love it.
From BAM Camp, I took Lisa Trinati's advice where she said that she removed herself from her personal office and she is now in the bullpen with the team. She's got the whiteboard and she's banging out calls with them every single day. There is such a difference in being at the office with other people than sitting here on Zoom with my dog eating my Sharpie and my Expo markers. That is a difference. I think the last couple of years, maybe not. You'll see. Mark my words. Any final thoughts, Paige?
I would say, if I can speak without getting frozen, I will say the only thing to answer your original question that would get me to move is if I could not figure out how to get deals, if I suddenly stopped being able to get any deals and I'm like, okay, my only option is to go somewhere where they're just going to hand me deals. Maybe newer agents that need a little bit more training, I think they should always start out on a team, honestly. But I think we're like half of this business is figuring out how to get deals and get buyers and sellers. So if I couldn't figure that out and someone else was offering that to me, then I would have to switch.
All right. What the last thing here, and then maybe Dan, I'll let you finish it out. But what I've realized is a lot of people are putting in the work. Dan, like you said, right? They're door knocking, they're direct mail, they're doing the content, but they're not doing it the right way or maybe the most efficient way. So they're sending out a piece of direct mail, but they're only doing it one time as opposed to doing it 3 times. They're not using QR codes. So being in an ecosystem. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Bring in everything we've just talked about, though, and I think this is a perfect example or a perfect wrap up of some of the things we've talked about beforehand. Is that's where there's a need for things like the education that's out there now to put people past where they're at now, because the team leaders, like you said, Lisa Chinetti, that's a good move by her, getting in the bullpen, showing the agents, hey, I'm ready to get dirty because it's hard right now. The rest of the people are still going on vacations every month, showing, hey, this is where I'm up to, this and that. That's not a good look for your agents agents when they're struggling to make one escrow and trying to get, their family groceries. I mean, I hate to say it, but like I live in a nice area, so everything's good here. But like you look across the country, it is a general consensus that things are very, very hard. And I think that if you're not giving the opportunities, if you're an agent that's listening right now, as someone that's like Dan, find another place. Because if you're not sitting there with opportunities and you are trying, there's more out there. But if you're not trying, it's all up to you, man.
Yeah. And it's easy to weed out the ones that are and the ones that aren't. Simple. Any final thoughts? Paige, you're back.
No final thoughts on this. We're good on this segment. Yeah, we've
sorry, Paige.
But
we went after show on that one.
Yeah. Let's get to this major announcement real quick.
Okay. Yes.
Actually Agents has officially joined. No. Come on. Actually Agents has officially joined BAM today. This is enormous news. Actually Agents has been my quote unquote meme rival for years. We have traded jabs back and forth. Dan knows how much this has, been a part of my life. He has helped me grind to turn the broke agent into what it is today. Because once I saw him pop up in 2019, I was like, oh shit, now it's real. Now there's actually competition. And I'm not just going to coast and post a meme every single day. I started posting 8 to 15 stories a day, 3 to 4 feed posts. I started building my email list. I started posting on blogs. I started doing podcasts, not all because of Luca, of course, but he definitely fed into this because I was like, I need to maintain my spot as the #1 real estate humor brand. But really, we should have been collabing this entire time because Luca has built an incredible community. He's hilarious. He's got over 8,500 agents in his Discord. He's doing bi-weekly masterminds in there. I'm just so happy. This is a huge watershed moment for both of our brands. And now that Actually Agents is a part of the Broke Agent and a part of BAM, this thing's going to absolutely blow up. So I'm really happy to be working with him. And that was just a huge moment for the brand. So I just wanted to kick it to you guys real quick. Paige, do you ever have an enemy? Is there someone you look to in your market that helps fuel you? Or is there anything that just gets that competitive spirit out of you?
Yeah, I have. Well, there's some big guys at the top, like up in Park City, that are doing $50 million deals, which would be amazing. I feel like they're on another level than me. But one thing, I feel like a lot of people are just full on ripping off my content right now in Utah.
Facts.
So I'm like, gosh, I gotta constantly be in new stuff. I have to be the best, because everyone else just does what I do, almost verbatim sometimes. So I'm just like, all right, I've got to constantly be innovating and coming up with new creative stuff to stay at the top.
Absolutely. Dan, what about you?
I think the same exact thing is. I think the same thing as Paige. I've been going through the summer of comparison syndrome, and it's not been good. So I'm here to say that everyone out there that's comparing themselves, stop, because it's horrible. But no, I think that everyone I look around, and there's so many good content creators and so many people putting in great deals. It's just so easy to come, like Dan said earlier before, it's constant competition. And it's funny because I think as humans, we dissect only the good things from people and we compile it into this master human that is against us. So I think for me, it's just always, I have to remind myself daily that it's just me going against me, because if not, I'll just end up in a depressed circle. Because I realize that I can't be everywhere doing the YouTube videos all day like Ken Pozek and doing $90 million deals on Longboat Key. So it's you got to pick one or the other. So
yeah,
much better to have an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset too. Exactly. But we all fall into that crap. We gotta stay on top.
I think the hard part, like you said, Paige, is when you see other people, when you're doing so much content. I see a lot of people at the beach doing the same type of content, all these teams taking the exact same thing I'm doing. And then it's frustrating, but it's you know what? Maybe I am making that big of an impact of the stuff I'm enjoying doing. So it's that abundance mindset is so important to be happy and continually deal with this brainless work we do sometimes.
And I think you should use it as fuel, just like Eric said, right? Eric, in a healthy way, Eric and Luca kind of, use each other to better and post more, right? Because either one of them didn't want to fall below the other. So I think it was healthy competition. I think it's I texted Luca yesterday when I found out, said congratulations to him, sent him a nice long message. He's a man. But I do think that healthy competition, or we always need somebody to chase. I mean, that's just right. If you don't have anybody to chase, but you kind of could lose motivation.
Okay, well, Dan coming to Sarasota is now my competition. So that
there we go. Hell yeah.
Inside,
it helps to have an enemy. For branding, it really honestly helps to have an enemy. And when the Broke Agent started, there was no enemy really. It was just kind of me posting. I was the only game in town from a real estate humor perspective. There's lighter side of real estate, but they weren't evolving into Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or anything like that. So for 3 years, I was basically just coasting. All right, I'm just going to post and I'm still going to sell real estate. And maybe something comes of this brand. But then when he popped up, I was like, all right, I need to work my ass off here, because this guy was posting 4 or 5 times a day. And I know it sounds like petty and ridiculous about just how much we were posting, but it was so much more
that sounds petty ridiculous.
What else does? I mean, there's far more underneath the curtain here that we're not talking about, but just, the way he was building
it lights the fire, though. It lit the fire for you to actually go, oh, maybe I should be doing 4 or 5, or now that you're doing 6 and 7, he's probably, putting it up too. And I think that if you're an agent watching this and you don't know what Discord is, go download it and figure out how to use it and go join it, because there are so many nuggets in there. Those guys, I barely know how to use Discord. I have the app. I literally log on. I don't say a word. I kind of just tap around. They just are dropping knowledge on AI stuff, on back end website stuff. It's just crazy. So Luca's such a great add to this program and the platform. And congrats to you, Eric, on that, because it is a really, really great transformation for our industry as people looking to get more knowledge, but then still smile.
Yeah, exactly. And our brands were separate enough. And I think he did a great job at maintaining his originality and voice. You know how hard this real estate meme game is. And Paige, when people are copying you, everybody sees and hears the same stuff. Luca and I, our brains work together in the sense that you see a meme, you see a photo, we're going to come up with the same caption. If a Taylor Swift meme pops up, we're both going to probably post something about it. But I think he's done a great job at, staying in his lane. I stayed in my lane. He had his Discord community. We were building a media company. And now just combining the two, combining our communities and our accounts, it's just going to grow so much more. And it's a great day for Bam, myself, for Luca, for Dan. He doesn't have to hear about me complaining about this shit anymore. So I'm fired up about it.
But last point on that I would like to say, that the friendly competition side of things, right? I have somebody that's in my marketplace in New York here. They were the number 1 agent. I looked up to them for so many years, right? Always just trying to chase them. And they are very famous. I'll shout out to Brian Karp for waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I would set an alarm for 3:59, and he would text me, hey, I was 123 Main Street available. I'm dead asleep. But I would set my alarm, and or if he didn't text me, I would send him a text, pretend I'm waking up at 4 a.m. too. And then I would go back to sleep. Fast forward 3 or 4 years later now, we just, purchased a home together in Turkey for the people that were affected by earthquakes. And it's funny because I just beat him out on a listing, and I put all of my signs right in front of his house, 15 of them to the left, 15 of them to the right. And it's become a healthy competition, but it's a joke, right? And so I called him and I told him hey, about the listing. And the coolest thing in the entire world was he's been there as a mentor, he's been there as a friend, and he's been there to help me. But when I told him that I was kind of chasing him, he said, listen, man, I'm not even in it anymore. He's like, I'm here investing and trying to build generational wealth for my family. It's all you, brother, man. So it was cool that you kind of almost make this competition or this rivalry in your head. And that's really where it is. It's really just only in your head. So shout out to Brian Karp, shout out to Lucas, shout out to Bam, shout out to everybody. Marketing of the week. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. This is a video that Paige sent me that I don't know how many views this got on TikTok. You said almost 1 million or something, Paige. This video absolutely blew up.
1.4 now.
1.4 million. So this is crazy. So this is the Instagram of this video. So Haley, pop it up here.
Welcome back to Mapleton. If you recognize this place, it's probably because we sold 3 homes in this neighborhood in the last year. It's a popular one, but we're back with just one more, and I think we may have saved the best for last. What do you think, Mia?
We'll let you decide on that one. See for yourself.
This home is just over 5,000 square feet with 4 bedrooms and the primary suite on the main level. It also has a huge pantry with a Costco door, if you know, you know, and an upstairs loft and an in-home office.
This home has a 4-car garage and it sits on a half-acre lot. Visit our website for more information.
So what I liked at the beginning of that is you said, you may recognize this home because I've sold 3 others in this neighborhood. So I thought that was just such a sick hook of just I've been dominating this neighborhood, and here's another one right here. And then you just flick up and then that song starts playing. Tell us what this video's done for you so far.
Well, they had it listed with another agent, and then they canceled it, listed it with me, and now we've just had showings going through the open house nonstop, and knock on wood, I think it's going to be under contract by Monday. So I had like 200 signups on my website. It's been crazy.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing.
And 1.3 million or whatever she said on TikTok. I'm assuming tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands on Instagram Reels. So Paige is constantly innovating the game with her hooks, and the way you match the music with the
Outfits.
House. The way I just blanked
Everything.
right there.
Yeah, I
That was
know, I thought you
crazy.
froze.
I just shut
I thought
down
you
right
froze.
there.
Yeah, I love how Paige. I also like the fact that you had Mia in the video as well. I know that she's new to your team. We got the opportunity to meet her at Bam Bash.
That's
Hang
right.
down.
She's great.
Yeah, she's great. So I love the fact that you brought her into that video. You kind of introduced her, and you put her on camera. And I guarantee you, in like 3 more videos, she's going to be an absolute video rock star.
Great
Oh,
team lead, Paige. Great team lead. Way to lead from the top.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Eric, do we have one more?
I think we got to cut it right there. Everybody, thank you so much for watching the walkthrough. This was a fantastic episode. Shout out Luca, Actually Agents, for joining. Bam. Shout out Utah Real Estate Page. Go follow her. Go follow Dan MacKinnon. Follow Danny Deals. Follow Ernie as well. Thank you, everybody, for
Danny,
joining.
I'm coming for you, Dan.